Sleeping.
So, Mr. You came in through the doors that are adjacent to where the leadership of the committee sits, and you walked past and sat in the public gallery. At which
It was a point when the chiefs started shouting, "What are you people doing? What is happening there?" They virtually started moving out. Then I stood up from there where I was sitting from the gallery and came here. When they started throwing the chairs, mature people standing up, taking chairs, throwing on the table.
Thank you, Mr. George. So, as the chiefs were exiting, you decided that you should move to where the commotion was happening?
No, I stood here for a while, and there was no amount of weight that can stop them. So I went there. I moved from there, and they said, "Oh, what are you people doing?" I know a few of them. I mentioned them, and I said, "What are you doing? Just take it easy." That's what happened.
But
I'm not the one.
That is the question I'm asking, and I'm looking for a response to my question. Per your response, you're confirming that you moved from the public gallery to where the members of parliament were located. Is that correct?
Where the riot was happening.
Kindly answer the question with a yes or a no. Can you confirm, per what you've just narrated, that you moved from the public based on what did you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I saw a lot of the guys at the other side fighting each other and throwing table.
We don't have guys here. We have honorable members.
Honorable members. Because upon that time, I don't know who were there. Seriously, because I have no special tag to identify who is honorable, who is behaving the way they are behaving. So upon that time, I don't even see any attack. All I see is chaos or riot.
Thank you very much. So, per your response, you are confirmed to this side of the room, correct?
Yes, except the people I know personally.
Would you care to mention the ones you know personally?
Honorable Kojetu Ablakwa was sitting, that is, and then I don't have personal relations.
You said you moved to this place because of the commotion which was going on. Where was the commotion taking place? There or here?
Mr. Chairman, I said that I moved there.
The question that she asked was members of parliament who were seated at this side. Were you not aware? And you didn't know any one of them?
From what I've seen was chaos or riot that time. I don't know honorable person or that I saw riot in the house.
Mr. Opeko, as you moved to this side of the room, were marshals in the room?
No, please.
Perhaps I should ask one question before that. Do you know who a marshal is?
I have no idea who Masha is.
Okay, perhaps we can give a definition since your lawyer is here. And then we can proceed with an. Stand in summary, though the marshal is responsible. I'll read it. Yes. On the
Page 33, order 50. Order 50, rule 1. There shall be an officer of parliament called the marshal. Two, the marshal shall A, bear the mace before the speaker in procession into the chamber and recession after that. Speaker for the maintenance of order in the house. Carry out directive for the speaker for the maintenance of order of the speaker. Any other functions that may be assigned by the speaker or the clerk.
Thank you. Mr. Opeko, are you clear with what's been read so far?
I am clear, but I have something to say.
If I may finish my questions. Thank you. Given that in your previous response you have admitted to not knowing who the marshals are, but now I've given you context as to what their role is. In hindsight, given the fact that now you know that there are marshals and this is the role they are meant to play.
Even that faithful day, you cannot identify who Marshall was because they were overwhelmed. Because some of them, I think, I can't see.
If I may, Mr. George, it's only a question. If you don't have an opinion to offer on that, I can move on to the next question. Shall I move on because you don't have a response to that, please?
Move on.
Very well. Thank you. Were you close enough to the table that got broken on the day?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Do you recall whether you were actually part of the group that was holding?
I was at the back of
that was broken. Is that correct?
No, behind the people who were holding the table.
So you were behind the people who were holding the table?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, was there any point in time that you also...
A gentleman who entered the table was start shouting, like so what is going to happen here is not going to be easy. Okay, he quickly jumped from this.
If we...
I think everybody says Jerry. Honorable
Okay.
Jerry Shaibu, yes. And so he was trying to lift up the table and yes, to hold the table, not to collapse on the gentleman.
Okay, so maybe you would want to change your response, because the initial question I asked was whether you were close to the table. My second question was whether you touched the table. You said you did not touch the table initially, but you're confirming now that you were holding the table.
Yes, yes.
And just, may I continue?
Go ahead.
Just for the record, the table you're referring to is the one that was lifted and that lost its two legs, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me ask you whether you have any regret.
Civic duty, I did not regret of the way I was able to salvage some of the damages, or they should have do. Now that I know what is before me, I'll consult or I'll take proper invitation before coming to salvage the taxpayers' money.
I must be frank with you. The last time we met, the marshal, we encountered the marshal. He also admitted that at a point there was security lapse. But let me advise you, if you are not invited, please don't come in. So we had to, as a stranger, even though you came in to salvage a situation, you were not invited. So that's uncalled for. So let me give you just simple advice. In future, in Parliament, there are rules. So when you are not invited, please don't come in. That is not right, because it's a security threat, because you may not know who you are. Okay? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I take your advice and thank you very much.
Thank you. Admitted that you came in as a spectator. Before my question, let me just give you this analogy. We have a football match, and then we have got the players on the pitch, and we have got spectators who go into the stadium to watch the match. So there is confusion between the players on the pitch. You, the spectators, would you ask the spectators to go in there and try you?
Mr. Chairman, in future, I'll advise myself.
So, this body, this committee, is conducting this investigation. And part of the findings of the committee will be who are responsible for the damage that was caused. So you have admitted here that you participated in that exercise because you want I say you have admitted that you participate.
Who restore calmness should be charged for the damage. Meanwhile, those who cause or who destroy the property.
I want an answer to the question.
Please, can you repeat the answer
I
again?
said those people who were involved, if they are being surcharged with the cost of things, because that is an activity. You were holding the table. That's an activity. The table subsequently fell, and the legs. Are you prepared to be surcharged with that particular cost, since you were involved?
No, because my involvement is to rather to praise my ability to restore calmness.
You want to be praised for your activity. You are a stranger here. You are not supposed to be here. But you want to be praised. Oh, okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
You didn't want to be a stranger. Oh? You didn't want to be a spectator. You became a citizen. That's what you did. But you did it at the wrong place and at the wrong time.
It is not for us to say you be surcharged or not. Ours is to find out those who were involved. So we are in the process to be discussed at the plenary, and then the outcome of our finding will show either
My last question. Now, you came in as a spectator and decided on your own to assign yourself without any directive from the Marshal's department, the people who are responsible for maintaining law and yourself.
You need to do something rather to appreciate my effort as a civic responsibility to restore calm, because I didn't contribute to the program.
Mr. Opeku, I will humbly and you don't want to be held in contempt of any of that. This is not a witch hunt. But the reality is you infringed on certain rules. In actual fact, when it comes to the issue of whatever the consequences will be, whatever they will, impositions with regards to sanctions. And in the same way as if you're asked to pay a fine when you go to court for something, if such a thing is the ruling of the committee, as a law-abiding citizen, you are not allowed to say you will not comply with it. And it's just a piece of advice in letting you perhaps avoid that tangent that you're going on with regards to your responses, please.
Let me just advise, in addition to what Honorable Zanetti was, if you look at Order 38 of our standing orders, Order 38 and Order 39. 38 is where Parliament determines that the stranger is guilty of contempt of Parliament or in breach of parliamentary privilege. Parliament may order that stranger not to enter the precinct of Parliament for a period of not exceeding 9 months, whether or not that period extends beyond the ends of the session. And then 39 says punishment of a stranger in contempt or breach. A stranger who is guilty of contempt of Parliament or in breach of parliamentary privilege is liable to a fine not exceeding 250 penalty units, or a term of imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, or to both. Where a person is committed to a term of imprisonment under Rule 1, the Speaker shall direct the Marshal to notify the Director General of the Ghana Prison Service to give effect to the decision of the House. I just want to avert your mind to the fact that this committee can recommend that you are a stranger and you are actively involved. So please be measured in what answers you give us. We are not witch hunting. We are only finding what has happened. And if it is to the effect that you are actively involved, whether you are protecting property or you are actively involved, for us, we are to determine those who are involved. So please be measured. My colleagues says they don't have any questions for you, but I have a lot of questions for you. Mr. George Glory Opeku, on that fateful day, the 30th of January, he decided to walk into the precinct of Parliament. Honorable members who were nominated by the President of the Republic. You are on record to say that you are here not by the invitation of any of them, but by the fact that you heard that they were going to be vetted. That's why you came. I want you to confirm that. Committee, that you were cleared by the security of this House. And then you came in through this door to take a nap. And then when you heard a commotion, you woke up and moved to where the MPs were sitting. I want you to confirm that. Shall I repeat the question again?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
That when you came, you told this committee that you passed through this. You went to the public gallery where you sat. And then when you heard a commotion, you moved from the public gallery to the committee sitting area, and then from the committee sitting area, you got yourself involved in the activity here. I just want you to agree or disagree with me.
Mr. Chairman, I am not aware that place is for MPs only.
So, when you came, why were you go to the back or where the public gallery is?
There was no place to sit around.
So, if there was a seat here, you'd have. So that means that that place has been clearly marked for the public. Is that correct? So when you moved from the public gallery, and I want to use the word public gallery, to where the committee sitting area, where the MPs were supposed to sit, and then you got yourself involved with the members of parliament, don't you think that you were endangering your own life?
Exactly so. Because I put my life on the line, which I learned a lot from it. It won't happen again.
We are here to meet as a committee to decide on what we've witnessed. But it is clear
Mr. Chairman, when the... Oh, I'm okay, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. George Glory Opeko, we want to thank you in our parliament. We'll call upon you again when needed. Thank you so much. You are honorably discharged. I want to take Honorable Collins Dauda Alaji. Affirmation. Honorable has to go and pray, but since he hasn't prayed, he will not touch the Quran. I think that is fair. So you just do affirmation. Please.
I'm here to pray, and you must have performed ablution. I haven't performed ablution as I stand here, so I can't touch it. Thank you very much.
So please. I,
Collins Dauda,
swear by Allah that the evidence I shall give before this committee,
that the
full truth
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
For attending upon this January 2025. That is Honorable Alhaji Collins Dauda.
I came into the meeting room that day. So I was here.
Thank you very much. Can you tell this committee what you witnessed? On that day.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman was billed to take her turn at the vetting committee. And I came in to get a confirmation from the chairman of the committee whether she will be taken, only to find that the place was in disarray. There was confusion. In fact, the tables had been turned upside down. Some tables have been turned upside down. Some chairs thrown on the tables. And the gadgets here broken. But the place was in a mess. And whilst the NDC members were insisting that proceedings should continue, the MPP side also insisted that proceedings must be brought to an end. Proceedings shouldn't continue. I said, why must somebody cause this confusion and still benefit from the confusion? It's wrong. As well, I was supporting should continue.
That was what you witnessed.
That's what I witnessed.
Thank you very much. Does that mean that you came in after the commotion?
Chairman, exactly the case. I came in when everything was over.
That you came in after the drama. Honorable members at that time.
I was just simply saying that the vetting must not end. The vetting must continue. Because Honorable Akando had taken his seat. He has subscribed to the oath.
Okay, we want to put on record that because we were not here, he didn't know whether, in fact, we were told, and he himself confirmed, that he has not taken the oath at that time.
Oh, okay.
So you can continue.
But he was seated for questions to be thrown to him. And so I was wondering why the committee would ask him to step out without going through the vetting. And in fact, one of the members from the MPP side shouted behind me that they were tired. In fact, that's what annoyed me the most. In our standing orders, you don't stop parliamentary business when you are tired. It cannot be basis for anybody to recommend a committee to adjourn. It cannot be basis for anybody to ask the speaker to adjourn the sitting of Parliament. So I found that to be weird. And it's one of the reasons I joined my colleagues in saying that the vetting must continue.
As the most senior, most member of Parliament, currently in the 9th Parliament, will you describe this scene that happened on the 30th of January as one of the scenes that should not have happened?
It is something that indeed was avoidable.
As a distinguished and review that says that they were not talked to them.
At that point, I realized that there was the time when some members tried to rearrange the chairs here, they were obstructing them. The member of Parliament for Koforidua, he won't allow anybody even to check the table by way of rearranging the place for the vetting to go on.
Is that the Honorable Michael Ochiri Befi?
I don't know the name too well, but I know he's the MP for
So,
Koforidua.
can you identify him? Oh, where is it? Maybe in the video? We just want to be sure. For the record, we want you to Beefy. Okay. My colleagues have one questions for you.
No supplementary. Alaji, you are a senior member of this house. And since all kinds of commentary about the events, what is your advice? Or for that matter, what recommendations do you want to make to us regarding the events of 30th and 31st?
In order that this situation will not occur again, it's a difficult one. Difficult one because when people determine, they organize and determine to do something, you will never know what their plans are. It was very clear. Because I was in this meeting room earlier on when one of the honorable members from this side wanted to make a point. And all the members on the right side here put on their mics in order that this other member
Honourable Member, respectfully, if you could kindly clarify which side you're referring to
I'm
by
talking
using
about
majority or
those
minority
who are
for clarity.
This side, majority side. All the members on the minority side. So it is difficult to give a prescription. But generally, if we are looking at how we conduct vetting, we can come up with some pieces of advice.
So will you recommend to the House that we should have rules or procedures for every committee, how the committee ought to do their work, conduct their work?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, ministers come before the appointments committee for vetting. But sometimes, if you watch, the proceedings move away from vetting to inquisition. It becomes inquisitorial to the extent that a member of parliament who has been nominated by the president to take up a responsibility as a minister will take a seat and be asked about his wife, how the wife takes care of him and all that. Mr. Chairman, you recall that until this 9th Parliament, the previous appointments committees never had the benefit of subject matter to test the knowledge of the nominee in the area where he has been nominated to go and work. That, I think, should be the focus of the vetting committee members. But after subject matter committees ask 1 or 2 questions, they spend, let's say, 5 minutes, 10 minutes maximum. And questions which are unrelated to the subject area where the nominee is going takes 3 hours. There will be a uses my event. That way, we'll have proper vetting. Test the nominee in the area where he's going to work, in order that you know the capacity to be able to help this Ghana move forward.
Chair, Honorable Collins Dawda, the committee has the benefit of having these rules or procedure for Government Assurances Committee, which regulates their work. My question, will you also recommend that every committee in this House, just as you've mentioned, have its own rule so that it will not be abused?
I support this. I mean, rules change, regulations change because of changes in circumstances. We have never witnessed this before. On the negatives, what can we do to improve parliamentary democracy going forward? The lessons for me is what is important. So I agree that there must be rules, well documented, inquisition Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Honorable Alaji, excuse me, you are like a godfather. In the House, in Parliament. From the 8th Parliament, that's since 2020. Well, I came in during the 8th Parliament. Certain behaviors are showing up, which maybe it's safe to say that they are counterproductive to what a parliamentary culture.
If you can expand on that, so I will know how to.
From your first time of coming to Parliament to your 7th, I don't think, I would not know. You would know better. But it's from the 8th. We call them fracases, you call them distractions, disturbances in the House. But they were on the floor of the chamber.
The event that took place in the last Parliament, leading to the election of Right Honorable Speaker Aban Sumana Bamben, wasn't the best, but when you have the minority determined to have a speaker on their side, you should expect some of these things happening. But I will say that parliamentary democracy is becoming so sophisticated. When I started, that delegates had to be induced to vote in a particular way. The delegates will look at you, assess you, and vote based on what they think you can do for them. Today it's changed. When it started, it's gifts plus other things, gifts and more. It's not good for a parliamentary democracy, but that's another subject that we can discuss later.
But my recent observation is that now we are moving from chamber into committee with the disruptions. And your view on that, please.
The same human being, the same honorable members, committee level. And so it's attitudinal something we need to work on the behavior of members of parliament.
Honorable. You earlier on mentioned that you witnessed also seen similar ones in the main chamber, and it is coming from even the first time that Parliament ought to be meted out. Because you look at the privileges are just becoming too many for members of Parliament, so we can do whatever we want and then we go scot-free. What do you recommend that the Speaker should do?
I recommend for members of Parliament, in order that they will not engage in there are so many things that have changed. Even the way we dress into the chamber, the shirt some of you wear and enter the chamber. Those days, no way. If you wear a suit, you are in suit, your jacket with a tie. I find today, shirt without a tie, with a jacket, he's in the chamber. If we all agree that that's the way we want to go, fine. If we want to dress traditionally, it must be proper traditional. And during those days, came in with a sleeveless smock. He was walked out because it was described as a singlet. All manner of things. But as I said, orientation is the answer to it. Thank you.
Yeah, Alaji, beyond orientation, because to me, the first timers, they just went through orientation and this is the results you are getting. Do we do something extra? Privileges. The Speaker, do they have to take stern decisions on some of us? Because I fear the future. If even the Ninth Parliament is behaving this way, from where you started from, you mentioned Honorable also a champion. That should tell you the good old days. So if now, even the Ninth Parliament, this is what we are experiencing, then I will fear for the 10th and the 11th Parliament. So if there should be any action, I think it should be now. So what do you recommend, Honorable, apart beyond the orientation?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I've said what I can say in public. I know that after your meetings with the distinguished persons you intend to invite, you retire to a committee meeting where I come sit with you without the cameras and I'll say a lot of things. Some of the things I can't say before the cameras. The discipline is not about the freshers alone. It's about all of us. I thank you.
Thank you, honorable colleague. Chair is back.
Honorable Collins Alaji Dauda, thank you for attending upon this committee. You're honorary discharge. Thank you so much. Want to thank you so much. Initially, we indicated that we were going to have Mr. Mr. Kweku Asante from Joy FM, whose video one of the videos that we depend on heavily, but we're told that he needs a representation from his lawyers to continue with the witness, taking the witnesses. We were given up to today. We've requested for additional days from the speaker. Speaker has not yet responded, and so we will come to the end of our public hearing. I've also mentioned that our colleagues from the minority has written officially to us that they will not be part of this witness hearing or public hearing. The clerk, those who are left, will be that could be appearing before us. But Honorable Alexander Penyo Makin, Shaib, Honorable Rudolph Omaku Jamjai Asama. These are those that we needed to engage. But without them, we have seen the videos. Grateful that you've covered this public hearing. We know very well that Parliament is at its lowest ebb, and it's our prayer that the report of this committee will bring some which hand anyone, Mr. Speaker, is just to identify those who are involved and then recommend to the House what to be done next. As for the measures and the punishment, the Speaker has already laid it out, ways to identify, and all of you have seen the video. Even without us having public hearing or listening to the witnesses, we've all seen the video, and it's so clear that the committee will come out with the report and recommendation and identify those who are involved. So once again,